Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. Going to seminary gives you the basics of what you need to be a pastor. Knowing the basics is one thing, but I have found that over the years of doing them among God's people, I have been brought to more depth and understanding to the things I am called to do. I learn and grow every day, even now after 38 years. I still remember when I had been a pastor for about 8 years and one of my church members died. I was visiting with his wife after his death, and even now I'm not sure she realized what she said or what it actually meant. Maybe she did, and I was the obtuse one. Anyway, we were visiting, and I was attempting to help her process her grief. She was of Norwegian ancestry and somewhat stoic, and any time I felt like we were getting close to her acknowledging and processing her grief, she would turn and simply say, "Life goes on." The way she said it and her demeanor gave me the impression that she was throwing up her hands as if to say, "This is what happens. I can't change it. Let's move along." I was concerned that she was avoiding the hurtful feelings of her husband's death, but it was only later that I caught the import of her words. When I would bring the conversation to her husband's death, she would say, "Life goes on." Indeed, in Jesus, life goes on for her husband. This week, following All Saints Sunday, we are talking about the Bible's view of death, and today our focus will be on Jesus and death. And the story of that woman in my church reminded me of the conversation between Martha, the sister of Lazarus, and Jesus. You may remember this story, and part of it is often used at funerals. Jesus had some special close friends, and Lazarus and his two sisters, Martha and Mary, were some of them. While Jesus was elsewhere, Lazarus died. A few days later, Jesus and his disciples traveled to Bethany, to the home of Lazarus. At this point, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. In their view of things at the time, they believed that a soul hung around a body for 3 days, hoping for resuscitation. But after that, the soul left and the person was really, finally, fully dead. Well, Lazarus is dead. As Jesus comes to the town, he meets Martha, and as the Gospel of John tells it, Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask of him." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live, and everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world." Death is not the end of any story that God writes. Rest assured, Jesus assures her that death for her brother is not the final conclusion to life. Rather, it is more like a period of rest, similar to going to bed at night, only to rise again when morning dawns. Jesus assures her that Lazarus will rise again as we rise in the morning to begin again, to start a new day. Jesus assures her that Lazarus' new day will be fully caught up in God. There is great comfort and hope there. We know that death for our loved ones and our own deaths are not the end of the story. God has more to write, and in Jesus that ending is life with God. There are other places where Jesus shares thoughts about death, times when he talks about heaven and what things are like there. First of all, he does affirm that there is life after death. The Sadducees didn't think that, and the Pharisees did, and there was a great debate going on about that issue. Jesus leaves no room for doubt that life after death is real. He says life there is different, but also that we will know one another. He often describes heaven as a great banquet, a wonderful image in a world where lavish banquets were rare for most people, and the struggle for food was daily and real. Most of all, Jesus is certain and assures us that we will be with God, caught in God's loving and warm embrace forever. Death is not the end of any story that God writes. As my friend said so directly, life goes on for us forever. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.